Hi everyone, it's Roger here from Disney Infinity and Beyond, and I am joined with a special guest this week. We have got Travis. It's up in there in lovely boiling hot New York City this morning. Okay,
Yeah,
and here we
well,
go.
yeah.
This week we have had loads and loads and loads of Disney Infinity 3.0 news, absolute tons of it. We are going to be running through all of the information that we've had over the last week since our last week's show. Probably it's easily our most popular show we've done. We did it just after they announced all the information, and we've kind of had like a week to calm down, read through all the information. There's been lots of bits and pieces coming out, specifically through Game Informer and also Toy Box TV Live. So we're going to be discussing all of that bits and pieces. So before we go any further, if you haven't already done so, remember to hit that subscribe button. You can also check us out on Twitter, Facebook, and at our webcast on our website, DisKingdom.com. And so let's throw this straight over to Travis and say, how you doing this week? How's been your Infinity week this week?
It's been absolutely crazy. I was not online, let's say, during the reveal. I was on my way to a dentist appointment. And
Yes.
all of a sudden, like 5 minutes before I walked into the dentist office, my phone exploded from everyone tweeting at me, messaging me, "Oh my God, it's up." So I got like a 2.5 hour late start on the initial announcement from Game Informer, and then I was driving home when they did the Toy Box TV drop with the official press release. So I was behind on all that. So my first actually introduction to the news was downloading the Game Informer issue digitally, which you can do through Google Play. It's only $4.99. And reading all of that, and that was just amazing. And I remember messaging you and Abe saying, "Oh my God, look at all this stuff," because there was a whole bunch of stuff in this Game Informer article that it's not even out in print. It's only out in the digital, and it's coming out in print. And it just those articles are amazing. But yeah, no, and then the Toy Box TV Live, and then all the other Game Informer articles. It's just doing a full-on 3.0 shoved down the throat. It's great. It's great. It's more than I was expecting ever. I was expecting oh yeah, we're bringing Star Wars. We're confirming Star Wars. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, here's some Marvel. We'll throw in some 3.0. And then they're like, oh yeah, we'll throw in more 3.0. More Disney to 3.0. And then we're going to explain all this crap. It was so good. So good.
I mean that was the big thing. I mean, we've had so much information since last week's show, from Game Informer putting up almost like daily information, Toy Box TV. So I'm gonna before we get into 2.0, or 3.0, we still have that. We have still had a little bit of 2.0 news this week that I'm going to touch on first, just because that's the main bit from this week. So first off, we had the Vita version was released finally in GameStop on Saturday. Loads of people interested in getting that black suit Spider-Man and the Vita version. Now Travis did actually pick that one up. But he only picked it up for one particular reason.
That guy right there.
Yeah.
And I love it. I don't even have Vita. But I traded in some old games and some Skylanders and stuff because I wanted this figure. And what I liked about the figure, once I got it home and looked at it and started playing around with it, I didn't initially realize it at first, but they didn't just repaint the figure.
No.
It's the same pose, but they remolded the figure before they reproduced it, it looks like, because none of the Spider-Man texture points from the from on the hood and all that stuff that was really cool in the original figure are not there. It's not a simple repaint. They really redid the figure. So they just didn't take extra Spider-Man and went on it. So.
Yeah, I believe it, as it's a GameStop exclusive in the US. There was quite a bit of a promotion that GameStop were running. I don't know if you want to briefly say what you managed to pick up with that one.
Oh yeah, on Saturday it was Infinity Day, and they had a whole bunch of deals. The deal for the Vita was I got a Avengers playset for free, which includes Iron Man and Black Widow, which was on normally $39.99 on sale that day for $19.99, and then the Marvel Rare Power Discs, which originally not $5.99 on sale that day for $2.99. So you could say I got $46 worth of free stuff, but you could also say I got $23 of free stuff. 6 to 1, half dozen the other to me. But this week on GameStop Online, you get, in addition to the Avengers playset and the Rare Power Disc, you do get a free figure also. So you basically double your value. So, I mean, they're trying to push this Vita out. I don't know. I understand why. But, and if you have the money and you want to get all that extra free stuff and either give it to people or try to resell it, make someone else's day by selling it cheap, then go for it. I mean, I think the figure is worth it, to be honest with you. So,
yeah, I mean, I've got my en route to me at the minute. So once I get that, I'll be doing some videos of some gameplay, etc. of the Vita in action. I do have a Vita, so it does make I am actually looking forward to playing it and kind of being able to play it a little bit, kind of when I'm out. Etc. So I'll be going through all of that a bit more. So for in the UK and in Europe, it's out a little bit later over here. But yeah, so that's going to kick off with that one there. I'm going to have a quick word. Just I know that a lot of people are trying to get hold of the Black Suit Spider-Man. There's going to be a lot of people selling the Vita versions without the figure. So if you're into, if you want the Vita and you wanted to get it cheap, the good way, and you're not too bothered about Spider-Man, you're going to be able to pick up a good cheap copy of it. But there is going to be a flood of people probably trying to sell that game in the next couple of weeks.
Me included. Yay!
Yes. But I'm not. I'm actually... Oh, yeah, carry on.
The Vita version is also compatible with PlayStation TV.
Yes.
Which is a cheaper alternative to PlayStation Vita if you're looking for the portability aspect within the household.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you can literally, I think it's now about £45. They recently dropped the price by half. Plug it into your TV in your bedroom or anything like that, and you can pretty much, and you can sort of play the Vita version, or you can stream it from your PS4 if you've got that as well. Yeah, I think that's enough, but we'll have more information on the Vita version up on the website once I've got hold of it and been able to kind of test it out and play with it, etc. Right,
yeah, so I was gonna do gameplay for this to show people, but it's exactly the same as putting the power disc under the regular Spider-Man. Yeah, there's no special look in game aside from you don't need the disc. So
no, that's cool. Right, okay, so let's kick off straight off with getting back into 3.0. This is what everyone's interested in. This is the one that
they don't care about Spider-Man.
So anymore. On the Twitch TV live Twitch. I was watching it live. I think quite a few people were, and there's a few different things that were announced during the show that were pretty interesting. First off, let's get down to the nitty-gritty of it. There is only going to be one starter pack for Disney Infinity 3.0, and that is the Star Wars Twilight of the Republic set. That is all they're going to do. They've kept the price pretty much the same as last year. They have taken a few things out, but the idea, I think, is to be the cheapest starter pack on the market for any of the Toys to Life categories. You have those two figures. There is going to be some other options, which just quickly bring up. There is going to be a digital option where you're going to be able to get on day of release, and you can download that, and you can also then go off and buy the play sets for Twilight of the Republic or Inside Out or whatever if they release on the day. We have no release date yet. Also in Europe and in the UK, for some specific reason, we have got also a software disc that is going to be released on the same day. That software disc is you can actually put in, and there's a lot of the stores are doing promotions over here where you can get the Twilight of the Republic and that on there, and it's cheaper than the starter pack. So I'm not entirely too sure why Europe or in UK are getting the software disc and the America isn't. But there has been a kind of a thing that America so far said that they're not going to be covering it. So I don't know quite why we've already got that little bit of confusion. But generally, there's going to be one starter pack or the digital option. There's pretty much in the US. What do you think of that?
I'm wondering, see, because Disney UK runs the promotions in the UK, and of course Disney US runs the promotions in Disney US. There might be something tied with one of the conventions this summer here in the United States, where maybe the announcement of the Force Unleashed set is tied into the or Force Awakens set is tied into maybe also announcing this software disc for a convention. That I'm thinking maybe they're just remaining hush on it, because there's a lot. I mean, I looked at the packaging that you posted, and it looks so official. I don't understand why they wouldn't do it. I'm also looking at the fact.
Yeah, it's definitely I mean, it's up on all the UK retailers. There's even a chart showing you that Disney have put out saying, if you've got this, buy this. If you've got that, buy this. And so and I'm honestly looking at it and going, this is perfect. This is exactly what we've been talking about for years. Of essentially get rid of the starter pack and just have the disc out and let people pick up what they want when they want. You know, there's not, if you want an Inside Out this year, I can go in, just buy that software disc Inside Out, and I don't have to worry about Star Wars. There's no need to make a starter pack. It's already there. It's already out. You know, it makes so much sense.
The only thing I can think of, aside from them needing to hold back announcing it in the US, is that price point in the US makes all that breaking up not viable. You know, where, like, because last year when we priced out all the individual components, the starter pack was basically cheaper, if not.
Well, actually, yeah. I mean, actually, over here at the minute, the software package is actually the cheapest option. It's about £5 cheaper than the starter pack, which makes sense because you're not getting the base. And some of the retailers are already starting to have a little bit of a price war of trying to get that price right. And if you only want the disc and maybe just to play the toy box, you can. I think it's about £30 just for the disc alone. I mean, yeah, if you were to buy. They are doing some bundles, so it's worth waiting. I mean, we're still a few months maybe away from release, so things might change as we get closer to it. But
I'd say 2 to 3 months. Yeah.
But what is important really is the fact that Disney have pretty much said on the Toy Box TV Live, there is only, to avoid confusion that happened last year, there is only going to be one starter pack, which I think is fantastic. I think that was a great call.
It is a good move.
And also during that sort of Toy Box TV, there was a question was brought up about a collector's edition, of which they kind of skirted around the answer and said, you know, something coming maybe a bit later, but we can't announce anything now. So there could be something coming a little bit down the line that sounds really interesting. We don't know what it is yet. They're not. I know while they've told us a lot, there's still going to keep a few things back to kind of keep us excited for later.
Yeah, with that one, because I rewatched the whole entire Twitch stream afterwards again, so I knew exactly what was going on. And they basically said there was one coming at this time. They started moving on to the next question, and JV throws in, but we're excited at what is coming or what the potential is to come. I don't know exact wording. So it's like it could simply be that they visited an idea and it's on hold right now, or maybe down the road. I don't know exactly. It was just JV being very excited and saying something that might have been taken out of context by people. That's all I'm going to say with that one. So
I mean, I've decided at the minute I'm going to be going for the software pack and the Twilight of the Republic set. But I'm going to hold off on putting any pre-orders down at the minute because of I'm expecting a collector's edition. If they don't do one, I might pick it up. I'm thinking I am going to go for the software pack primarily because I believe the digital version is going to be more expensive in the UK. That it's cheaper for me to do that option because traditionally there's been a tendency for digital on the day releases to be a lot more expensive than the physical. Battlefront is a perfect example of it's £55 to pre-order on PlayStation PSN, or it's £45 to order the disc. So it's just that's why I'm holding off on that. Let's go into some other. Yeah, and also it's like you say, if you've got the disc itself, you can always trade it or get rid of it later. But generally, I think especially with Infinity, when you get to the next year down the line and you want to trade that disc, it's like all kind of yearly games. The GameStops and stuff don't really want to know much about the old one because everyone just wants the new one. Also during that show, there's been a bit of an announcement regarding the packs of the power disc. The blind disc bags are now gone. There's going to be no blind bags in 3.0. There's been a lot of people complaining about them over the last 2 years. So there's going to be coming in blister packs of 4 themed around something. So we don't know too much more than that. They are going to be revealing some more on Toybox TV Live at some later date. So what do you think of the new idea of these power discs becoming into blister packs of 4?
Well, that information I think came from the Game Informer article, saying that they were going away with the blind bags. Basically, on Toybox TV Live, they were kind of hush on it because they're planning almost, sounds like close to a whole episode maybe, or a good chunk of an episode directly on the Toybox discs. The power
and it makes sense for them. Yeah. It makes sense to sort of drip feed that information out because that will keep people's interest going, especially after they've announced so much.
I do like how they're going to be keeping it themed. From what I understand, like if I want to go in and get a Star Wars theme pack, I can get a Star Wars theme pack. Now I don't know, and I'm not sure if all 4 discs in that theme pack are going to be the same. I'm assuming so to make SKUs easier and to not confuse people, because I have a feeling if people don't like that fact they have to buy 4 discs to get the one they want, it would really suck if they have to buy 4 discs to get the one that they don't have because the other 3 are duplicates because they came in another pack.
I've got a feeling that a bit like those that recent pack with the 2 Marvel ones that came out, it's going to be, there will be a Pacific pack with those discs. They're not going to mix them around because it's just going to cause too much confusion. And that's what Disney are trying to get rid of, is confusion, trying to streamline it. So it's that thing as well of I'm looking at, like, for example, like the recent Trap Team traps of how they were selling them individually. You could buy what you wanted. And I think with the power disc, it's going to be maybe a bit more like that, where you can pick up exactly what you're after so much easier.
But at the same time, Roger, they're going to save confusion, but they might cause a brief moment of mass hysteria because the easier it is to portion out game discs, power discs, the better it is to throw exclusives out.
Yes.
Like the 2-pack that right now seems to be very exclusive to GameStop and maybe a couple other retailers here in the U.S., but it wasn't a retail-wide release.
No.
And they're already talking about the Disney Dream, the Disney Cruise Line ship, having those themed power discs.
Yeah.
And now that they announced that they did away with blind bags, that points more to credibility to the fact that if they're going to be 3.0 power disc directly associated with the Disney Dream. I'm not saying that's it. That's all conjecture on my part. And then theme park exclusives. They were talking about theme park exclusives as far back as 1.0.
Yeah. But also, I mean, in the past, the last for 2.0, they had those albums with those power disc packs that were exclusive. I could see Walmart have an exclusive pack, Target have one, Toys R Us have one, GameStop have one, and it makes a lot of sense actually to keep the retailers happy. And also, they can keep reprinting them, so they don't necessarily have to. They don't have to be difficult in that way. I mean, I am going to suggest maybe pre-ordering things online for those, if they do become like that, might be a bit easier for people to get hold of than going to the store trying to find it. But yeah, I'm also, there's a part of me that's like, oh, but in all honesty, I think the move away from blind bags is going to be great. It means I don't have to buy 25. What did I buy when Marvel come out? Like 25 packets. When Disney came out, 25 packets, and then I'm stuck with all these doubles, and I've got to sell them, and I've got to send them away, and it's like the cost of just posting everything afterwards of what I didn't have, and I still needed a few discs. The idea of I could have gone in and just brought all of them straight up, no hassle. And if there was discs I didn't have, then at least know I can go find them easier through other means rather than blind bags, which, you know, I'm still after a couple of discs from the Disney original set. So I'm really excited about the idea that they've dropped the blind bags. I think it's just a better idea all around.
I talked to JV, like, the first time I talked to him was about 2 years ago. And at that point, we were still big at Vinylmation Kingdom, our sister site. And he was very excited with the Power Disc because he had made them akin to Vinylmation with the trading aspect. And that was basically their reasoning, and the reason they developed it the way they did was Power Discs were tradable, community involvement. I don't think they were expecting the backlash that it happened. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that the rare discs were easily obtainable in Series in 1.0 because of the scratch method on the things. Even 2.0, you still could scan the discs at home and then return them. The methods were not in place to prevent people from doing that. I think that might have ruined some of it.
But I also
you're right. A lot of people, I'm throwing so much money at the game, and I'm getting all these doubles, and no one wants to trade all these doubles because the ones that they're getting are, quote, worthless.
Yeah.
And then Toys R Us goes and says, okay, we're going to throw these Power Discs down. Granted, 1.0 Power Discs were not as cheap as they are now. I mean, 25 cents a pack now are crazy, but...
Yeah, I mean, I know also with the US, specifically with those the Toys R Us exclusive ones that they brought out originally, they were handled pretty bad with exclusive things, which caused a lot of confusion. So I can see why going into 3.0, the Power Discs, they're the way they're going to do it. I'm also, one thing me and Abe talked about last week was it allows for content to be spread out better, which is something I'm excited about. Because if you think of it with 2.0, we had 40. We had 40 like a month later, and then we had 2 Power Discs for Aladdin, and then 2 Power Discs for the Marvel, and that was it. So we've only had, there was, at least with 1.0, you had 3 different waves. But I'm really looking forward to, I'm hoping with 3.0, the things are a lot more spaced out. You know, we could have a Christmas pack, or we could have, next week we've got this pack coming out, and 2 weeks later we've got the, rather than maybe dumping everything at once, they can spread the content out a lot easier.
Yeah, but again, that would only make sense to me if those were store exclusives. Kind of like what Amiibo is being done with the retailers. Like, okay, GameStop's exclusive Amiibo is coming out this Friday, and then next Tuesday, Walmart's going to have their exclusive Amiibo come out, and then I could see the Power Disc being done there. I don't see success in retail-wide releases being weekly or bi-weekly even, because these companies, no offense to some of these employees are great, but the majority of the employees don't know what's going on with a regular release, let alone a bi-weekly or weekly Power Disc release.
Yeah. I mean, I just think there's a potential there for Disney to spread out that content a little bit better, rather than maybe trying to dump, if they're going to be in packs of 4, if they put 10 packs of discs out on day one, there's going to be a large amount out at anyone at the beginning, but maybe they can put out 2, 3 Star Wars, 2, 3 Disney, and spread out that little bit more, especially if they're going to be putting out a lot more figures this year. They might want to stretch out a little bit, maybe not have everything straight off the bat.
Do you think they're going to have as many Power Discs out in general? Because in my opinion, having 4 packs put out, the discs in general are going to have to be pretty strong. As I don't know if Gus the Mule would have made the cut if it was in a blister pack.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if they did, what are we looking at? Even if they did 10 packs of each brand, that's 120. That's 120 discs. So I could easily see them if they did like 5 packs of each brand. That could still add up. That's what's. I don't know. I think we might see. I think we're not going to see anything less than 100 discs. I still think we'll see 100 discs, whether or not that's spread out. Gotta do some math there.
25 packs times $10. That's still $250. I'm assuming they're going to be roughly price point is going to be roughly $9.99. So
yeah, that's where I was sort of $10-12 is where my sort of math is working out. And obviously, if there's some freebies and stuff, because this is the other thing I was thinking of. You know, that, for example, they could turn around and say with the pre-order bonus, "Oh, you buy the starter pack, here's a pack of power discs." Or there's a they can use that more so than they have in the past. But no, I'm even if I said 5 packs for each brand, you know, that's still 20 power discs for each. It doesn't sound a lot. 60 power discs.
Yeah, it still adds up though, and I have a feeling since it's not going to be blind bagged, that they're not going to be dropping down in price as quickly or as inexpensively as these blind ones. I mean, I doubt we're going to be seeing them down for $1 or $2.
No, because you're going to be more like $5 would be probably the bargain price.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so other things that were brought up. Now, I'm going to bring this one up first. Is the concept of farming being introduced into Disney Infinity 3.0? What are your thoughts? Yeah.
I'm a farmer. My family's been farming since before I was born. You know, it's not a big farm, but it's a farm. And planting crops, it's awesome. And in my opinion, it's awesome. It's fun. I loved Farmville growing up, playing Farmville on the computer and like that. I do like the fact that they turned farming into something that you do with the new sidekicks that are in the toy box, and those sidekicks you power up by feeding them crops, and those powered up sidekicks are the ones that you take into the new toy box expansion game, or toy box expansion game, Villains Takeover or Toy Box Takeover. I don't know the wording for there. I don't know the exact wording is finalized for that one, but the Takeover box is done with. Yeah, well, they say Toy Box Takeover in some press things, but then in other stuff like the Game Informer article, and JV actually talked about it as being Villains Takeover. So I don't know the correct term, but I like the fact that the farming has a reason, and that reason is what will get people to farm.
Yeah.
Because if you want successful sidekicks in Toy Box Takeover, you need to have farm, and it'll cause people to farm. So.
Yeah. See, I gotta be honest, my gut reaction was, what? It's like farming. Why do I want to go farming? It's like planting crops and watching them grow. I hate gardening. So the concept to me was just like, oh, what, really? I'm in the official kind of wait for it to kind of get a little bit more information, but my gut reaction at the minute is just like, yeah, I'll push it to, I want to play in a Hulkbuster. I don't want to go making crops. It's just like, so for me, I'm in that.
No, you're in that group. I understand. A lot of people are. The thing is, you can get your sidekicks to farm for you, so you can feed the sidekicks. I like that aspect. I also, come on, a pizza crop. I want a pizza crop. As soon as JV said pizza crop, I'm like, okay, I need the pizza crop.
Yeah.
I want a pizza crop actually in real life. So make that happen.
It's that thing. If it's usable in the game, I'm really hoping the sidekick function has been increased, because it was really, really ropey in 2.0, especially when trying to build a toy box. I tried doing it a few weeks ago with a Darkwing Duck one, and sidekicks were just a pain because they kept dying or not respawning or dropping off where they were supposed to be, couldn't jump over things. So yeah, I'm really hoping that whole aspect of sidekicks really improves for 3.0.
Are you talking about sidekicks or townspeople? Because there's difference.
Yeah, there might have been a townsperson actually, but yeah.
Yeah, the sidekicks are reminiscent of the ones that we got in the Toy Box game discs for Escape from the Kiln and Brave.
But they were so random, weren't they? Like just random characters. It's like in all honesty, I know there's still. I think there's still going to be that distinction between a townsperson and a sidekick. But to me, they should be the same thing. because that's what you want to use. They look the same, but I think we're going to have to wait till we get a little bit more information on that one.
I think that these sidekicks are going to be certain townspeople that are popular enough that people will want as sidekicks, because they mentioned Stitch. Yeah. And in the official promotional video, they showed Donald.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking they're going to be more recognizable characters in the game. 'Cause in Brave, the Brave characters made sense because you kind of knew who they were from the movie. The Escape from the Kill one, okay, a few of them may have made an appearance in Guardians of the Galaxy, but not a lot of them did.
No. But also, I mean, all those hats and upgrades, I still never upgraded them because I never understood it. I'll be honest. I was playing through and like, well, I don't. It's like, oh, you need to upgrade this person. You need to upgrade that. And I just instantly was just like, I don't want to be bothered with it. It didn't seem important enough. It didn't seem, I could play through that game without needing to do it. And all those extra shields and options in the toy box, I've just never seen any need to use them. And I think that was where, hopefully that will increase and be a little bit more useful.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's where the crops are replacing from farming, or replacing those exact things that you're talking about equipping. But the funny thing was, when I first started talked about farming, because Game Informer had a lengthy article about, or section of the article about farming, you were like, they're talking about spark farming, and I'm like, no, they're not. No. And it wasn't until I actually showed you screenshots of the article where you were like, oh, actual farming. I'm like,
yeah. I'm going, really? Oh, okay, right. Okay, so off because, carry on.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, this past weekend there was a special mum blogging event that took place down in, I think it was in Walt Disney World, where they were giving out there was a special media event, and they gave out Mickey and Minnie for 3.0 to lots of the mummy, and they were out there taking loads of pictures and all over social media of them at the parks in front of all the attractions, and they just look really cool. Did you see any of those pictures?
Yeah, that's part of Social Media Mom's celebration, and Disney is really big. They're not one of the only. They're not nearly one of the only company to do this, but a lot of companies like Disney, Skylanders, Lego, Hasbro are really big into providing content for independent mom bloggers or mommy bloggers or whatever. It's grassroots. It's great. I've been to a couple events, one of them being Blogger Bash last year, and that was, there were guys there like myself, but the majority of them are mom bloggers, and the events are great, and they're love to give content out. Last year at Blogger Bash, they gave out Tinkerbell. I also got a Stitch from JV at that event. And this year, they're just announced that Blogger Bash will have Disney Infinity back as a really big partner for the Blogger Bash this July. But Social Media Mom's Celebration, which was the event this past weekend, is similar, and this was held directly at Disney. And I have a feeling that all the different Disney properties got together and was presenting stuff to the mothers. And that event was pretty cool. The Mickey and Minnie figures given out were awesome, and the contest that they had tied into that, where the mommy bloggers could win Disney Infinity 3.0 prize packs for tweeting and posting these pictures on social media. It was trending at one point.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. There's a part. It's perfect advertising, because essentially you have these events. You're going after the grassroots, as you said, and that information spreads out to a different community. Goes out to we're talking to our listeners and stuff now, and we are one side of the community where we've got fans. But sort of bloggers and sort of specifically mum bloggers are going after a different community, and reaching out to them through these kind of events is a great way of getting the game out to families. And that's what Disney Infinity is about. And this whole thing about giving out like Mickey and Minnie for doing a photo competition. Perfect. You know, there's pictures of some really amazing pictures of them in front of the castle, in front of you know, the tree at Animal Kingdom. And it's so, in some ways, it's a really easy, cheap, you know, you can literally, they can give out those figures and they're probably only a couple of dollars for them to make, and they can get so much press and coverage from them. And that's why Disney tend to give out figures at events, because it makes complete marketing sense. And also, it's just really cool. It's great. I'm really cool to see. I never would have thought we'd have seen that kind of thing happen so quickly. You know, they announced it on Tuesday, that event, and they were already handing out figures. You know, it's really quite fast. I mean, I'd have thought, you know, we'd have been a little bit away from doing that, but they were straight off the bat and had those figures ready to roll.
I have a feeling that's why the figures were ready to roll. That was, once I saw that they were doing that event and they were giving Mickey and Minnie out, I was like, that might be the reason why Mickey and Minnie were included in this initial burst of information. And like Mickey and Minnie were big on the Twitch stream on Friday. They had big plastered standees of them right next to JV and Allison. So,
but do you know what? Yeah, there's another side of me that's looking at this going, they learned one massive lesson from last year. Get Disney out on day one and say it is part of Disney Infinity. And now it is just Disney Infinity 3.0. There's no tagline. But what they've done is, and I think it was perfect, absolutely. And, you know, you've got to give them credit for it. They came straight at the bat with Disney, Marvel, Star Wars, straight off. No messing about. No, is Disney coming? What's going on with Disney? You know, they're out there with pictures of Mickey and Minnie on day one. And I mean, that was perfect.
I understand, but then they had a big push with Mickey and Minnie. Was it Thursday or Friday? They actually had their own separate press release for Mickey and Minnie separate, confirming that they were in there. I mean, they said on Tuesday they would be in. They showed pictures. But they confirmed Mickey and Minnie were in there. And I think that special press release was tied into the fact that they were throwing these characters out to the public. Because these mommy bloggers are public people. They're not... I mean, you have us... Here, like when I go to events and stuff, I'm considered media, I'm considered press, considered part public, possibly part, you know, professional, stuff like that. All these, and then you have the people higher than us, like Game Informer, IGN stuff, and they're mainly full media. So I'm like, we're like on that cusp of being between two of them. But these mommy bloggers are just stay-at-home moms or working professional moms that do this on the side on off hours, and they appeal to a whole different demographic, like you said, and it just, I'm looking forward to what Blogger Bash has in store, because that's the New York City version of it, and I'll be going to that in July. So
yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, just in general, I think if we look back at the last week, I mean, Game Informer have had loads of information going up. They're going to be putting up more. I think there's more information going up today. They're basically just stripping out bits and pieces. And I've got to say that this last week, we never would have assumed that we would have ever have got this much information straight off the bat. I think because last year they were so drip feeding us that like I said, it caused a lot more problems with promotion and also this year they've got, you know, Lego. I mean, literally, I woke up this morning, you know, and Lego have announced and put out press images of Doctor Who and Scooby-Doo and all the rest of it. You know, they're having to compete with someone really big this year, and they're both trying to here you go, get this. And I do wonder if that's been maybe an aspect of it.
Well, just to let you know, Lego didn't put those out officially. Someone from Lego posted a directional booklet for the Back to the Future level pack.
All right.
And in that directional booklet were images for all of those characters. Right. So it was. Yeah.
I'd only better wait 2 minutes.
It's about as an official non-leak as possible. Yeah. I don't know if they're going to try to. The thing about companies like Skylanders and Lego is if it gets out there, it gets out there. Disney Infinity is really on the ball trying to get stuff like that taken down. But I can't see how Lego can dispute the fact that someone from corporate uploaded a directional booklet for one of the items that shows all the other items, and it's a big one. I mean, granted, it also, I think I figured it out. My wallet, if I got everything at retail, this year for Lego Dimensions is $600.
Whoa!
Not including any exclusives that might pop up, which I'm pretty sure there will be exclusives. I haven't gotten confirmation on that, just some hearsay. But I mean, 600 before any type of special exclusives.
But then, if you actually work out Infinity, you know, it's like, I mean, I've never done it, and I don't think it's a good idea to do it as well. Because after I've got this, you know, it's like, ooh, all those starter packs and all those power discs and all those figures, yeah, they are expensive. But at the same time, I think getting out that information to people to make an informed choice before they pre-orders is going to be important. And I do think that Disney have done a great job in getting that information out. We've got no pre-orders for all the other stuff up yet. It's just literally just a starter pack, which makes sense in some ways. Is they want to get things sorted and get things drip feed out a bit later on. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens this year, because there's that Lego are bringing in a new fight to the Toys to Life category.
And that's going to pull a lot of people away. If people were a two-player, if people were doing Skylanders and Disney Infinity, and they want Lego more than one of them, then either Skylanders or Disney Infinity is going to take a hit. I know some people that have already said that they're going to drop out of Disney Infinity, and then a lot more, unfortunately, I've heard, are going to drop out of Skylanders. And we still don't even know what Skylanders is doing. They're saying it's coming, but they have yet to announce. They said we're going to be the last to announce. Chances are they'll also be the last to release, which is going to take a big hit on them. Amiibos...
That's slightly different, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a flash in the pan. I've had so many people that started out collecting all the Amiibos, but then gave up because they couldn't get all these exclusives that they're throwing at retailers every other week, it seemed, for a while. And they're talking about more exclusives and more exclusivity. And I don't know.
I mean,
it's gonna.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing this year is this whole this Christmas period, this is a holiday season. You know, they've got Amiibos, they've got Lego. This time last year, Amiibos, we didn't really know anything about them. No one really knew too much. It hadn't been released yet. They didn't get released till later in the year. But so this holiday season, there is so much more. You know, you've got Mario sat next to it, and you're going to have Lord of the Rings. And so I do think Disney coming out the bat really with a lot more information is very strong. I think Star Wars is still the strong brand, and the bet makes the most sense. Disney can I mean, I know there's a lot of people still kind of sort of saying, you know, they still want more Disney, and I don't think that's really unfair, because you know some people still don't view Marvel and Star Wars as Disney, and that's. But I'm hoping from next year on, now we've got, it's like this year, Disney Infinity 3.0 is a mix. It's a right across the bat. They've been very much along the lines of they weren't following that Marvel kind of frontage. It's right across everything. And I think maybe going forward year on year, Disney can keep bringing in Marvel, Disney, and Star Wars as a constant rolling thing. So I think they've got better chance long term, because they've still got lots more content and characters to go. Lego seems to have just thrown a lot out very, very quickly.
Well, I think with Lego, Lego said from the onset that your same portal and your same game will be forward compatible with future releases. So I'm wondering how much they actually have backed up and how
but then
long Dimensions will go.
But also, Disney Infinity, the base is still the same base going into 3.0. The base hasn't actually and I know a lot of people are, I don't want to buy another base. You know, it's the cheapest thing out of everything that's going. I mean, I know with Lego, it's slightly different with the size of it. But that Disney Infinity base is forward compatible. It does work. You don't have to buy another one. It's there.
No, they were talking about how the game. You don't have to buy a new game down the road. So, but they also say that you have to have Lego's outright in saying that you have to have a DLC connection. You have to have an internet connection.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling that you're going to get a lot more updates from Lego through the computer.
Yeah, I would love to see Disney Infinity do that a little bit more. It would be great if on, for example, I don't know, September 15th or whatever it was, our games just updated to the 3.0 software, and you could carry on, and you could go and buy all the play packs. Because I think my one big bug with Infinity, with the software side of things, is I have to buy it on the console, but I can buy it for free on my iPad, or I can get it for free on my Android, or free on the PC, but I have to buy it on the console. And I don't think that's, I understand going and buying the figures and the play sets, and I think there is that kind of thing of, I can see why they have to hold off on that because of the console's release. I think Disney maybe can't go down that full DLC route yet, because there's so many people still that still traditional and still haven't quite got to that point yet. And I don't think until we get to the next generation of consoles, can that really happen fully.
Yeah, JV explained it really well during the Twitch feed that every year their game engine takes a drastic step higher. Now, granted, it'll probably come to a point where they'll come to a plateau where the game engine's pristine. But that's why they can't bring playsets forward, and that's why they have a hard time reconfiguring older characters to get new moves and stuff, is because the game engine is so much different than the previous version that, I personally would not want just to them, quote, update 2.0 to 3.0, because there's so much stuff in that game, in the new game, that I would want. Like, they redid the combat. They retooled the driving. They added more stuff. They brought on these companies that are world-renowned for these aspects to do the work for them. And side note, I just figured it out. Based on what I am guessing, you're looking at about $620 full retail for anything for Disney Infinity 3.0, not including exclusives or power discs, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at play sets, what we know about figures.
One of those interesting things, I think, with Disney, that what's happening is by bringing all these different companies in, it really sounds really interesting, because I think they are really throwing the money at Disney Infinity to make it a strong game. And every year that game is getting stronger. To bring in a team just to work on combat, to bring in a team to work on racing, really shows that they are looking at this in so many different aspects. It's not just a one-dimensional game. And I think that's where Disney Infinity is going to keep growing. It's going to keep growing to be lots of things to lots of different people. Whereas, Lego and Skylanders have kind of got their niche. They've got what they do, and it's Disney are kind of. But there could be a counter argument that maybe by not concentrating on one thing, nothing is standing out as amazing.
Yeah, it's 6 to 1 and half a dozen the other. I think by having one company do the programming like Lego and Skylanders, it benefits them to a certain extent, because there's more control, more maybe continuity or cohesiveness, but they also limit themselves on what skills their one team has, whereas Disney Infinity is saying, like, okay, well, we're great, and they said outright that Avalanche was going to do Pixar playset because they felt they were strongest on that, and then they farm out other companies to do programming for other playsets based on what the playset needs.
Yeah.
And maybe they don't feel as comfortable doing it. And I think to them, hiring other companies might be a more economic and better way to get a better game than to have more in-house stuff.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah. I was just going to say, they've brought in a new company to do with the I think of which playset it was. I think it was they brought some new companies in to work on one of the new play sets. I think the Marvel one, the Marvel one is being done by a different team that's never done anything before. And I think they're the ones that did Watch Dogs. And it's like that's they're almost viewing it as a separate release in some ways, of we bring in a new software team to do a new game, and it's treated almost like a separate video game within that company. And like they said, they knew that play sets were what people wanted. So I think it's a really smart idea, and it really expands how big the game can get.
Yeah, and even the portable versions, the Vita version,
yeah.
and the even to an extent the iOS versions are all separate releases because they all have to be programmed differently for what they are. I agree with you. There's an issue, and people have a valid complaint about how the iOS and Android versions are free. But I personally don't care for those versions, so I'd rather pay some money to get me some console versions where I can properly kick a bunch of butt without having my screen freeze or my iPad crash. So.
My biggest thing with like the iOS kind of way that they work, in that whole kind of, here's the game, but if you want to do anything, you're gonna pay for this, you're gonna pay for that, pay for this. I'd rather just pay. I think because I've always been used to buying a video game outright and playing it, whereas I think like with like iOS devices, like people I know, or my parents and my wife, etc., they play video games on their phones. They don't associate that with money, and when it comes up and says they're going to pay for something, that means it's time to stop playing. I'm used to buying a video game for $50 and playing it, and that is a big difference, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I've only just recently gotten back into gaming, but every game that I've purchased so far since I started getting back in, I've had to purchase extra in order to get everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing really with, the whole DLC thing now with video games is a much bigger aspect. It is, and I can see why and a lot of people are like, oh, we'll have to keep buying DLC. Well, if you look at the cost of a video game compared to what it was, the price of a video game hasn't been going up. What they've been doing is they've been chucking in DLC as a way of if they just turn around and say, well, you can have the full game, but it's $80. People are like, no, I only want to pay $60. So I can see why it's happening, and I think, and that's one of the big things with DLC, and I don't think it's going to be changing anytime soon. The iOS version is showing that people are willing to have a base version and then just keep adding on, and I think that's just the way video games are at the minute.
And I only know of maybe one or two people personally that only game Disney Infinity on iOS versions, and they have purchased quite a bit of extra content, like the Tron figures and stuff like that. The main thing people use the iOS versions for are toy box building and leveling up characters when they're at work.
Yeah. I mean, I just think in general,
characters don't go over, so I don't know why they're trying to build up their characters.
No, I mean, I think just in general, like looking at like 3.0 as a whole now, 5 play sets. We have two known expansion packs, which is a toy box game discs. There has been a little bit of confusion whether there's 4 or 2. In the press release it says 2, but there has been sort of talk of 4. So I'm still kind of in this zone of, at the minute I'm still saying 2 because that's what all we officially know. That means we've got.
I've never seen 4.
Yeah, I mean, I still would like to see. I like the idea of them having more official content. I think that was really lacking with 2.0. Was and there's like on the Toybox TV live, they're saying there's more characters and play sets to announce. Now I'm really hoping that this isn't just a slip of the tongue of what happened with 2.0, where they kept saying there's more coming, and it never did. We know the Force Awakens still has to be announced, and we know the Marvel playset still has to be announced. So I don't know if they're referring to them. So I know there's a little bit. I'm kind of in that sort of skeptic mode where I'm hoping there are more play sets. I'd love to. I think that's somewhere an area where they missed out on. But I am wondering if it's those 2 play sets that they are referring to when they said there's more characters and play sets to be announced later. What do you think?
I do think there's more characters to be announced.
Yeah.
And I know that their characters officially we have not gotten anything other than Hulkbuster and Ultron for Marvel.
Yeah.
So they're not going to have a play set with just 2 characters. They've proven with Lone Ranger that was not a viable solution. So I'm expecting at least 4 to 5 characters from Marvel. Not saying that'll happen, but that's what I'm expecting. And none of the Force Awakens characters have been officially announced yet either. So, and
I'm also expecting a few more characters added to both both the Star Wars playsets as well. I'm 5 for each. I mean, I know there's gonna be crossover. I think that the fact that they didn't want to show us the back of the box of the Star Wars one in Toy Box TV says there's more characters on the back. That it could be just the Force Awakens ones. But yeah, there's more. I think there'll be more Star Wars coming on the side.
How many? Let's see. We got 11 confirmed for. Okay, so we have 11 confirmed for Disney.
Yeah, and 10 for Star Wars, and 2.
There's Mickey, Minnie. No, there's 11. There's the 5 Inside Out. Mulan, Olaf, Tron, Korra.
Yep.
Mickey,
there's 11
Minnie.
Disney.
So that's 11.
Yeah. 10 Star Wars.
10 Star Wars, and then the 2.
And 2 Marvel. 2 Marvel.
I'm thinking 3 or 4 more. I'm thinking 3 or 4 more Marvel, and what was it?
I'm thinking another.
I had a number in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if that's a number. I have a number in my head, and if that's a number, let's see, 33 minus 16 minus...
That's what happens at
I'm thinking there's still going to be about 7 or 8 Star Wars that haven't been officially announced yet. So.
Well, I mean, I'd be guessing at least 5 or 6 for Force Awakens, and a couple of extra ones thrown into the other toy boxes. I think just in general, I think we are. I mean, they said that there's going to be more than 100 characters available for 3.0, including all of the 1.0, 2.0, and basically just told us, we need to go do some math. So, if you include all the variants and the crystal figures, we're not shy short of 70 already.
Yeah, it's going to be about 30. I think 31 was the magic number that needed to be hit if they're saying we're at 100.
Yeah, I'm going to guess probably around about 40 figures total for 3.0, because I'm sure they'll throw in a variant.
Just above 30 would be good for me. I'm looking more of like expensive.
There's some people that are going. It's too expensive. I only want 10, and then you got other people going. I want 150 for each year. I want 4 variants for every power disc.
Yeah, I want 100. I want 100 figures, and I want all those figures from 1.0 to get full skill trees. Which are not happening, by the way.
Yeah, I saw, they said on the Toy Box TV they've improved a lot of the melee attacks, and they have been improving bits and pieces, but they have said that they would like to bring play sets from the previous games into the game, but if they do that, we're not having any new ones. So that kind of pretty much is a bit of a bug. My only bug really with that is, and I think this would be the thing that would be really cool, if they could put 1.0 onto a digital download for PS4 and Xbox One, that would be a workaround, because then you could go back in and play them. For me, with a PlayStation 4 now, I can't go back and play them. At least with 2.0, I'm still going to have the disc. I can still launch it up and play the old playset if I wanted to. But they are keep saying hold on to those play disc sets because they could come eventually if some kind they wanted to. I don't think they will do. I think it's like any video game. Every year that you have a new version, and that is what people want to play, and they don't want to keep bringing in. If it was any other video game, you wouldn't be keep wanting to bring those play discs for. I think there's a different association with them to a normal video game. You know, you when you play Grand Theft Auto 5, you don't then go back and go, well, can you bring all the stuff? I want to go back into Grand Theft Auto 2. You know, that's what happens with video games.
I'm astounded that there's that much animosity sometimes with people that can't grasp that it's a yearly game and what's in that version stays in that version. Skylanders doesn't bring any content forward aside from the figures. And Pokemon, it's not like you can bring with Pokemon you can't even bring your Pokemon forward until you can trade them, and you still it's not like you can bring levels or bad guys or badges over. It's not. It's a different beast entirely. And people just, I guess, don't grasp it. And JV did a great job explaining it during the Twitch, which is still up, by the way. You guys can go to Disney's Twitch channel and watch it. It's got up for another about week or so. Maybe
they only have 14. They only have 14 days on Twitch archives, and I mean, I really hope in some ways that they maybe. I think they should export these to their YouTube channel for long term, because I think it would be good to do that. Because there wasn't an actual Toy Box TV normal edition last week.
Yeah, there was. It was Tuesday.
Oh yeah. The really short. I suppose I didn't really view that as a normal episode.
Well, you were getting ready for your live stream at like 2 minutes later.
Yeah, we glitched it. I think me and sort of Abe, I think we both watched that live. The Toy Box TV on the Tuesday was like. Yep. Okay. Right. We're going live.
Well, no, but I remember you're texting me going, "It's up. We're going on." And I'm like, "Wait, watch the Toy Box TV."
We did. We watched it. Then we went live. But yeah. I mean, I really do hope with the Twitch version that they do put that onto YouTube before it expires. Because I think they're missing out on a huge audience, because there was about 2,000 people watching the Twitch stream live. Which is fantastic, but Toy Box TV
for episode 1.
Yeah, but Toy Box TV on the YouTube channel can get 20 to 30,000 views, so sometimes more. So
that's me watching it again and again.
Yeah, he's just sitting there hitting refresh for a week. But yeah, I love the idea of that interactivity with the Twitch idea. I thought the whole show was very nice. It was very, very relaxed. You know, they brought all the different team members in and they were talking about it. You can see them all struggling, going, are we allowed to talk about this, or are we not allowed to talk about this? Which is the thing when you're doing it live, and we have that ourselves. It's that thing of I really enjoyed it. Hopefully they'll have the Twitch chat working next time, because it got turned off in the middle of it.
I think they had that purposefully, and I'm not sure if it would be a good idea or a hindrance, because they have that. It sounds like they're going to have an agenda each week. Yeah. And I think they're good. They're good about responding and being interactive with the community. But at the same time, I was remembering back when they did the Toy Box Summit and they had the chat open. There were a couple of fans that were very insistent that their questions or their concerns were answered, and it got to a point where some of the moderators had to, I believe, block or hide these people, because there was an animosity there. And
I mean, I can see what you're saying, but I think at the same time, if the chat was open and they didn't even acknowledge what was going on, people would still be talking between it. It just seemed a bit like, you know, there's one thing to have the chat on and maybe not respond to it, and just to turn it off. It just was. I think it would have. But they were, I think, going purely off of previous questions from the week that they've had already. So it wasn't. But I still think it was a fantastic idea, and I think doing that kind of, I think doing Toy Box TV live, especially in the run up to the launch, will be really interesting. I don't know if it's got legs in it to go every week when they're just talking, you know, like if 2 weeks ago when we had no 3.0 news, it would have been a bit tight to fill an hour of TV time.
I think it's going to be every week until until con season really gets into full swing, because I doubt you're going to get a live one on the same day as like the first day of San Diego Comic-Con, or the E3 one that they were possibly talking about with the development team might not happen, and D23, I don't see how they could have one live when they're supposed to be at D23.
But then if they're just
not confirmed, but they said.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, it's becoming a very big thing just in general with streaming from events for everything now, Star Wars Celebration. That there is going to be a lot more streaming from events in general now, because it is becoming the thing to do for events, because there's so many people at home that can't go to them, that it's an extra audience. They just and it's so much easier to do now. Nowadays, the cost of running, we're doing a version of it right now. It's affordable, and businesses can spend a very, very small amount of money. I mean, they were joking about the budget for Toy Box TV Live. I mean, they looked like they would have brought a new sofa or did those stand-ups, but the cost of doing these things is so much less than they used to be that and I honestly think it's a fantastic idea. I think going forward, it's a cool idea, especially in the run up to the launch.
E3 it's going to be interesting if they decide to do something streaming, because I know JV, while he was at E3, was running around so much just going to other streams.
Yeah. Well, it's just, all the big websites and stuff run these streams because it's what people want. And, now it's almost like streaming is almost just like being on TV now for a new generation. It's, they jump from stream to stream. Marvel were doing it, where it's just the norm now, and that's not going to be going away.
Oh no, not at all. It's going to be interesting to see how they tackle the streaming, being the quote new kid on the block with streaming. And the fact is that like it's places like E3, there are so many companies that are already streaming their
24/7. Yeah. Yeah, and it's going to be cool. I just think any kind of interaction with the community is a great way, and just having, I think, it's just a great way. I think we found as well with it, just us being like when we've been doing these shows, people are a lot more because you're interactive and you can hear you talking and stuff. It's a lot more personable, and I mean, we've had a fantastic week on our Facebook group, with so many, there's been so much discussion since the launch of all the news and what they like, what they don't like, and it's fantastic to hear all the community feedback.
Yeah, no, and that's the one thing I like about Disney Infinity as compared to, let's say, Skylanders, Lego, Amiibo kind of does it to an extent with their web announcements and stuff like that, but Disney Infinity is a lot more approachable. Now, that does have drawbacks where people, unfortunately, have in the past have gotten personal attackish with members of the Disney Infinity team for not liking what's being said or what's being taken care of. Tron Gate was a very big example where I think the line was crossed a little bit. But in general, there's more of a personality to Disney Infinity. Like when the Lego Dimensions and when stuff today leaked about Lego Dimensions, someone asked me if there's anybody like JV in Lego Dimensions, and there's not. At least not that I know of. No. There's no face of Lego to an extent.
It's kind of like I said, it's a kind of a double-edged sword, but I think it's a great thing going forward. And just, we're going to have a lot of information coming out about Disney Infinity in the next few weeks and months ahead. So
we didn't even get to all of it today. So
no, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, there was just so much of it to go through. So you can, I mean, we must have posted 15, 20 stories on the website. I've been putting up little videos and stuff here and there. But we're just going to continue to get more information over the next coming months. And so if you do want to keep up with the latest information, you check us out on our website. You can find us on Twitter at DisKingdom. You can find us on Facebook. As I said, you can join our Facebook group as well. Lots of literally going in there. Just put in Disney Infinity and Beyond, and you'll find us. Yep, and if you're listening to us on the audio versions as well, you can subscribe on iTunes. So I think we've got loads to talk about, and it's great to finally have loads of new stuff to talk about and things we don't know about. But anything you want to add before we sign off for the morning?
Well, I think the one thing, morning. I guess it is morning here, 3:30. Anyways, the one thing I do want to say for all your toy box artists out there, Disney has heard some complaints, maybe some concern regarding some toy boxes not being featured enough or seen enough or downloaded enough because people just really can't find them. Well, in the Toy Box 3.0, there will be the El Capitan Theater, which is a very popular theater in the LA area owned by Disney, and they do a lot of premieres there. But there's actually going to be a Toy Box version of the El Capitan Theater where users can go in and through movie posters view top 5 toy boxes, view development picks, view just, I think, even random ones. I think Disney might just be putting random ones up there. So there's more of a visibility to the toy boxes rather than just lists online or lists in things.
I think they even said you're going to be able to watch Toy Box TV within Disney Infinity. So this is inside
the theater, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what I also took from that as well, as maybe as a side effect, and we were saying about it last year, was in tutorial videos. If they can get some videos put together that you can view within the game, that will make life so much easier for people as well. So I'm taking one step and jumping 15 ahead.
Well, getting back to what you're saying, we're when a question came up about the Toy Box tutorial, the new opening for the Toy Box, where you can go in and learn about the thing, they basically not refused per se, but insisted that they're not the right people to talk about it. They need to bring in the team, Chad Liddell and the team over at Avalanche, who built that, to talk about it. So I have a feeling it's a massive upgrade to what we know about it in 2.0, which was just like, okay, do this mission, do that mission, do this mission, do that mission. I think this is going to be a more in-depth and expansive tutorial section of the toy box.
I think the thing is with a tutorial as well is that there's, I think in some ways it has to be quite chunks. It has to be do this and then do that and that, and because if you have to go through a 3-hour tutorial at the beginning to use the toy box, people are going to get bored and stop doing it. So they need to make it in nice little small chunks. But I do believe they are going to be trying to get them in on new episodes of Toy Box TV Live to talk about things a little bit more. And as we get closer to launch, it'll be a bit easier.
Right. But no, there was definitely some upgrades and definitely some attention to toy box artists and making sure that people can see, download, and play everyone's toy boxes as best as possible. Because I know, being I don't build toy boxes, but I do try to play a lot of them. There are probably thousands that I just don't even know about.
No. I mean, that's why that sort of top 5 featured thing is such a big thing for people to get hold of, because they love the idea that people can find it and download. If you get, you can use a search. I'm really hoping they bring that search facility into things a little bit easier to get as well. But yeah, I think that's pretty much going to wrap up. We've got, like we said, we probably could go another hour quite easily, but we'll save that for next week. So I'd say a big thank you for Travis for being on the show today. We're going to just quickly say we hope Abe is enjoying his sleep that he completely forgot to wake up for the show.
No, I don't know. Abe probably had a busy weekend, as we all did, and was probably exhausted.
So we decided. I thought since Travis is on the show this week, we'll just carry on. But yeah, it's a big thank you for Travis for staying up. Yeah, staying up. It must be about 4 a.m. now for you in US.
It's 3:30. It's prime time to wake up and do a show. At least I decorated, see all my Star Wars stuff in celebration.
Yes.
So it's a 3.0 looks amazing. Yeah, right. You have Minnie and Donald. Yep.
Yeah.
3.0 is going to be amazing. I'm very excited. Congrats to JV and all the guys over at Disney, the PR department. I know it was difficult with all the stuff that's been going on the past few weeks, but the launch was amazing.
Yeah.
Game Informer team is amazing for bringing this stuff forward each day. I'm so excited, more excited than I thought I would be. From the characters that are being announced to the play sets to everything just sounds so, as being what I think John Blackburn said in the Game Informer article, that this is they're considering this the end of a 3-year launch.
I know.
Now that all the properties are coming out. Well, yeah, because now all the major properties are officially announced.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be an amazing version of the game.
Yeah.
I
just, like I said, like last week's information coming out simply was, I think it was just how well that announcement kind of, once it all started coming out, I mean, it was coming out and so much planning had gone into that. It's just a really cool announcement, and they really did sort of, I think they hit the floor running, and I think they really managed. I have seen so very little. Last year's announcement was quite negative for a huge portion of the community. Haven't felt like that this year. Really have felt a real upbeat launch, loads of excitement, and it's just been a really quite a really nice week, just full of positivity and just excitement. And I think it's just been a really cool week. So a big hand to everyone for doing that.
Yeah, it's just, and the community is very positive about it, and I know we're really positive about it. The price tag, it's going to be expensive this year again, but it's expensive every year.
But that's if you want everything. If you're not interested in Star Wars, you can just buy the toy box and use your current figures, and you can do it really cheap.
But Roger, how many people do we know personally that are just going to buy
everything?
I mean, I own Agent P and Phineas, and I've seen one episode ever.
Me neither. I've only seen one episode to see what they wear. They need this thing of, right, this is called this, like, I want the all button. It's like, just order it all, boom, in a big box, just arrives with it all in one go.
That very well used meme of Fry from Futurama saying, "Shut up and take my money."
Yes.
I know that my friend asked me when 3.0 was announced, where do I insert my wallet into the computer?
Yes, it is. I mean, it's going to be a big release.
It's going to be. It's awesome at the same time. It's expensive, but you know what? It's a passion for a lot of us, and it's I look at it like this, though. No offense to Vinylmation, but one figure for Disney Infinity is only a little bit more than one figure for Vinylmation, and I'm buying Vinylmation by the case.
Do you know? I honestly feel the same way with the vinyl. It's like the price of the figure was almost identical to the cost. I get to play it all in a video game. The figure generally looks better, but also it's like you say. I would buy a case of Vinylmation with 24 figures in for $300, and then next month they release the same, and then the next month after that they release the same. And now I don't hardly buy any because I can't afford to keep up. But there is that thing of, I think, coming from that collectible zone of buying figures, the Disney Infinity seems really, when we're sort of saying, well, we want more figures, it's because we're used to buying regular figures regularly. Like, pop vinyls are the same. That we cover that on our sister site, popvinyls.com, and on DisKingdom. There are constant new releases out, and they'll bring out figures. And I think as sort of toy collectors, we're used to that function rather than 10 figures a year. It doesn't seem a lot.
Yeah, for a game person, it's not. It might be a lot. For a gaming person, at $600 might be a lot. And these days, now that I'm trying to be more on a budget and less on I want everything, yeah, $600 does seem like a lot. But then I look back at 2 or 3 years ago when I was buying cases of Vinylmation at a time, cases at a time.
Yeah.
That it just, in retrospect, it's not as much money as I was spending on other collectibles, and I'm having a better time at it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not just sitting on a shelf; they're collectibles,
yeah.
and they hold a value to an extent. I mean, not a big value, but they hold a value.
Well, I think it's not so much even that. It's the fact you can go back and you can reuse. I can reuse that, Mr. Incredible figure I brought nearly, 2.5 years ago, and I can still get as much use out of it that you can. A figure on the shelf doesn't maybe have that same thing, but I think that's pretty. That's just going to be a discussion for another day.
Yeah, we're getting into a whole nother hour discussion.
Right, I think we're going to pretty much wrap it up there. Big thank you to everyone that tuned in to watch this one, and big thank you to everyone that subscribes to the channel. As I said, there'll be a lot more content coming up in the future, and we shall see you guys in another episode. And again, thank you to Travis for joining me this morning.
Have a good night, guys, or good day.
See you later, guys. Yeah. Good day, mate. Okay, see you guys later.